Shalom, Kalalal Yamla Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Waharach Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS who rule well, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to you elect out there, starting with 144,000 on down. So, I frequently go on Reddit. You know, it's brothers that obviously know it, you know it, but it's a collection of, thoughts and experiences that you're seeing these Edomites are going through. And I stumble upon this one, I guess it's a Reddit group called Dreams, and this is what the basis of the lesson is on. Pretty much going into a dream this random person had, but it is tied to biblical prophecy. And why I say these Edomites are sharing their life experiences is, in Canada especially, we have the highest food inflation in the world, I believe, still. And all these Edomites do is complain day after day. They take a picture of their dinner, some macaroni or some bologna sandwich with some cucumbers and a tomato, complaining about how they can't get through life and they're paycheck to paycheck and pretty much damn near living the Israelite experience. They haven't even felt the half of it. But anyway, I'm going to read this dream. It says, I got a little drunk yesterday and my sleep got really weird. I dreamt that I got to join the Bosnian national team, but I couldn't go because shortly after I was chosen to go to the moon, suddenly I was in a wooden house on the moon and floating outside with a friend. Then I see Chicago, Washington, and New York being nuked, and afterwards the lights across America go out. And that's very spiritual. All right, this person thinks they had a random dream, and when you read the comments, which when anything serious happens, these peons, you GMO people, we like to call you, you like to soothe or cope by pretty much making jokes, making it what's that word, satirical, pretty much making it satire. That's your coping mechanism. That's your thumb in your mouth that you suck on when you feel out of whack. And people are pretty much saying, oh well, my hometown of such and such on the West Coast didn't get hit, that's good. They're just trying to make light of it. But nonetheless, this person had a real, I'll say, biblical prophecy dream, or prophetic dream, I'll say. And it's spiritual because he said these major cities, Chicago, New York, Washington, but then he said the lights across America go out. So that means other places, all across America, just as the scriptures say, all of Babylon the Great got hit, right? Afterwards, the lights across America go out. Then I see Berlin was nuked, and then Iran, and those people. I can't read that part, but that's spiritual. Berlin is where? That's Germany, Central Europe. We know parts of Europe is going to get finished, destroyed, right? Because the 10 horns, being the Commonwealth nations of Europe, aka the EU, the European Union, along with NATO, they're going to shoot nuclear missiles upon America, aka Babylon the Great. And America's obviously going to fire back. Iran got hit, as he said, and that little place in the Middle East, so-called Middle East, which is prophetic. Okay, that's in the scriptures. The earth didn't spin, it just kind of skipped towards the nuked places, right? So in his dreams he's saying pretty much it just skipped it forward and quick to those places that got hit. Okay. So reading on, pretty much that was the dream. You know, he just said he had to remember it and write it down, etc., etc. But once I started reading this, I said I gotta do a lesson, because everything he's saying is all straight from the scriptures. Everything he's saying is straight biblical. This is Joel 2:28. And even though if he's an Edomite or of another nation, it's still prophecy, right? NLT reads, then after doing all those things, I will pour out my spirit upon all people. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. In those days I will pour out my spirit even on servants, men and women alike. Right? So a lot of people, they've been getting dreams, and the men of the Lord, what is our job? Right? Well, the main job is to, fish for the elect, to go out there and be a public spectacle. But another one of our jobs is filtering these dreams. If we see a dream on a YouTube video, on a TikTok video, somebody makes a video, say, hey, today's April such and such, I just had a dream, and this happened in the dream. And if it lines up with the scriptures, then we know that dream was sent from the Lord. But if it was just a bugged out dream, he's saying, oh, look, I dreamt there was a rapture and all this bugged out shit, that's a false dream. Right? But once you start hearing the scriptures being mentioned, or not mentioned, but things that the person seen in the dream linked up with the scriptures, you already know that fits into what we're reading in Joel 2. Right? Now, let me try to find this scripture, because it's off the top of my head. I believe it's 36. One sec. All right, this is the scripture right here. This is Ezekiel 39:2. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus saith the Lord, power, Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts. And this is dealing with Russia. Russia's a major figure in this Third World War, and it's going to be a major figure, in that war of so-called Armageddon, which Armageddon means mountain of troops, because it's going to be all these different nations of troops centralized in that place that you call the Middle East. Right, what the scriptures mention as the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat. Shaphat means judgment, right? Yahweh's judgment. It says, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel, the government, the actual, not the people, right? The people are scattered, the actual place, those people dwelling in there, right? And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thine right. This is dealing with what? Thermonuclear missiles, what you call ICBMs, right? They had a movie, I believe it was called Broken Arrow, right? And the term for a hijacked or stolen nuclear missile is a broken arrow. So that means they know that these nuclear missiles, they're called arrows, right? The military term for like a symbolic term for these missiles are arrows, right? The scriptures is calling it that, and so does Esau, right? Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. Right? So, that Third World War is gonna have a lot of dead bodies. There's gonna be a lot of corpses, man, and it's gonna take a long time for them bodies to be put in their graves. But this is dealing with that land. So in that dream what that person had, where pretty much they seen that land get, you know, thermonuclearly destroyed. That's all biblical prophecy. You see? And that place, it's gotta get thoroughly purged. You know? I know there's another scripture, but I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. But that place has to get thoroughly purged because fire is the ultimate purging agent, right? You purge with fire. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on that. Shalom, kahalal, Yahweh Shem Shai.